Welcome, basketball fans. Today, we dive into the story of a young man whose name already carries echoes of basketball immortality, Victor Wembanyama. To witness him play is to see the future of basketball unfold before our very eyes, a future where size, skill, and creativity blend seamlessly into one transcendent form. He's not just a towering figure standing at 7 feet 4 inches. He's a revolution in motion, redefining what it means to be a big man in the modern game. Wembanyama's journey from the streets of France to the global stage of the NBA is one of dedication, vision, and destiny. Born on January 4, 2004, in Le Chesnay, France, Victor's story begins not with fame or expectation, but with family roots deeply embedded in athletics. His father, Felix, was a long jumper, while his mother, Elodie de Faudereau, was a basketball coach and player. Sports were in his DNA. Yet, even in that athletic household, it quickly became apparent that Victor was different. As a child, he wasn't just tall. He was coordinated, fluid, and unusually perceptive. Coaches marveled not just at his height, but at how he moved, how he handled the ball like a guard, how he saw passing lanes before they developed, and how he carried himself with quiet intensity. Growing up in the suburbs of Paris, Wembanyama's rise wasn't a product of hype or marketing. It was forged through relentless training, discipline, and an insatiable curiosity about the game. He studied the greats, from Kevin Durant's scoring craft to Tim Duncan's fundamentals and Giannis Antetokounmpo's ferocity. But Victor didn't want to be anyone else. He wanted to be himself, to build something new. From a young age, he believed that his unique combination of length and skill could redefine basketball, and he carried that conviction like a mission. By his early teens, Victor had already made waves in the French basketball scene. His time with Nanterre 92, a small but proud club outside Paris, became the first proving ground for his immense potential. The coaches there gave him the freedom to explore his game, to dribble, to shoot threes, to defend multiple positions. While many tall players were forced to fit into narrow molds, Wembanyama broke out of them. He wasn't told to stay near the rim. He was encouraged to create. And create he did, highlight after highlight that made scouts and fans around the world ask if they were witnessing something basketball had never truly seen before. Standing at over 7 feet, but with the agility of a guard, Wembanyama's game blurred positions entirely. He could grab a rebound, push the ball up court, and pull up for a three-pointer without hesitation. On defense, he was otherworldly. His wingspan and timing turned the paint into a no-fly zone. Opponents didn't just alter their shots. They often reconsidered them entirely. It wasn't just the blocks. It was the presence, the way he seemed to cover the court like a shadow that moved faster than reason. In 2021, Wembanyama joined Asvel Basket, owned by French legend Tony Parker, one of the greatest international players to ever reach the NBA. Under Parker's mentorship, Victor matured even further, learning the balance between creativity and control, between patience and aggression. It was there that he began to turn from a promising prospect into a professional force, sharpening his mental game, studying film, and preparing his body for the demands of elite basketball. Yet, even then, he wasn't satisfied. He knew his journey was just beginning. The next major step came when Wembanyama signed with Metropolitans 92 in 2022, a move that brought him even greater independence and visibility. It was during his time there that the world truly took notice. His games became global events, streamed internationally, dissected by analysts, and studied by coaches. The basketball world collectively realized that this wasn't just another top prospect. This was the prospect. His performances against the G League Ignite, where he put up staggering numbers while displaying the full arsenal of his skills, pull-up threes, step-backs, deep fades, and jaw-dropping blocks, made it clear that he wasn't just ready for the NBA. He was ready to change it. The hype around Wembanyama grew to levels rarely seen before a draft. Comparisons to LeBron James' 2003 pre-draft anticipation began to circulate. Even NBA superstars couldn't help but marvel. LeBron himself called him a generational talent, and some analysts went further, calling him an alien, a term that perfectly captured how unusual and advanced his game appeared. Despite the media frenzy, Victor stayed composed, grounded in his love for the game and his belief in steady progress. When the San Antonio Spurs won the 2023 NBA Draft Lottery, it felt like destiny had aligned. The same franchise that once molded international greats like Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, and Tim Duncan now had the chance to develop another transcendent talent. When the Spurs officially selected Victor Wembanyama with the first overall pick, basketball history entered a new chapter. Fans celebrated, analysts speculated, and the entire league waited to see how this young man from France would translate his promise into the NBA reality. From his very first game, it became clear Victor was no ordinary rookie. His defensive instincts were off the charts, his timing immaculate, and his confidence unwavering. Every night he played, there was a moment that left audiences speechless. A chase-down block that seemed physically impossible, a fadeaway jumper over two defenders, or a no-look assist that hinted at his growing court vision. He wasn't just playing within the system, he was expanding it. As the 2023-24 season unfolded, Wembanyama's progress accelerated beyond expectation. He became the youngest player in NBA history to post multiple games with at least 5 blocks and 5 assists, a testament to his two-way dominance and all-around versatility. His rebounding instincts sharpened, his shooting improved, and his chemistry with teammates blossomed. Under the guidance of coach Greg Popovich, one of the most respected minds in basketball history, Victor began to learn the subtle details that turn great players into legends, reading defenses, managing pace, and leading with composure. Off the court, Wembanyama has shown the same maturity that defines his on-court demeanor. Thoughtful, articulate, and deeply introspective, he often speaks about his love for art, design, and philosophy. He doesn't view himself as just an athlete. He sees himself as a student of life, someone constantly learning and evolving. That intellectual curiosity is part of what makes him special. He doesn't just play basketball. He thinks basketball, seeing patterns, anticipating movements, and adapting faster than opponents can react. For the Spurs, Wembanyama represents hope, the rebirth of a dynasty built not just on talent, but on culture, intelligence, and teamwork. He's embraced San Antonio with gratitude, immersing himself in the franchise's history and the city's love for basketball. And while the comparisons to Duncan, Durant, or even Kareem swirl around him, Victor seems unfazed. He doesn't want to be the next anyone. He wants to be the first Victor Wembanyama. As his career continues to unfold, the question isn't whether he'll be great, it's how great. Will he become a generational defender, a multi-time MVP, a global ambassador for the game? Every indication points to yes. Yet even if the future holds twists and turns, one thing is certain. Wembanyama's presence has already shifted the sport's trajectory. He's proof that the boundaries of basketball are still expanding. That evolution never stops. Victor Wembanyama is the bridge between eras, between the structured dominance of the past and the limitless creativity of the future. He's what happens when imagination meets discipline, when talent meets purpose. And as he continues to grow, both physically and mentally, the basketball world will continue to watch in awe. Because every time Victor steps on the floor, we're reminded that greatness isn't bound by size or tradition. It's bound only by belief. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this long-form reflection on the extraordinary rise of Victor Wembanyama, a player whose presence is reshaping basketball's future, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that celebrate the athletes redefining greatness with every step they take on the court.